If you stick to what your non-negotiables are and you're able to identify them, if you're able to identify what your areas of flexibility are, if you're able to identify those two things, then it's important you stand behind them without compromise. Ever feel like you're in a constant competition between your career and your husband's patience? Your kids think you work too hard, but hey, you're doing it all for them, right? The struggle is real, and I've been there too. Moments of feeling like a crappy mom and wife because once again, your kids had breakfast on their way to school, and you've got more important things on your plate than cooking and cleaning. Hey there, working moms who are juggling a million things and still wondering if you're doing it right. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a mama of 3, and married for 24 years. Welcome to the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast, where we dive deep into the messy, chaotic, and sometimes hilarious world of mastering motherhood, marriage, and business. I get it. Balancing it all was never the goal, but here we are trying anyway. I'm here to share my journey and guide you through yours. No more apologies for being driven, and definitely no compromises on your dreams. Together, we'll navigate the challenges of being a powerhouse in both business and family life. Join me as we tackle the uncomfortable conversations from being the breadwinner to changing the rules of what a marriage looks like. Let's figure out how to parent in a working parent household without the constant arguments or guilt. I'm Veronica Cisneros, and this is Empowered and Unapologetic, where we embrace the chaos, challenge the norms, and strive to live life on our own terms. Get ready for some real talk, actionable tips, and a few laughs along the way. Welcome back to another episode with the Empowered and Unapologetic podcast. I'm Veronica Cisneros, a licensed marriage and family therapist. And today, we're getting deep into something so many of you are silently struggling with: how to handle financial decisions during the holidays when you're in the middle of a divorce. Now, I know this is heavy. Maybe the holidays used to be filled with joy, laughter, and traditions, but now they feel like a nightmare. You're just trying to survive. Splitting expenses with someone you no longer trust or feel safe with can bring out every fear, every anxiety, and every ounce of dread. But I want you to hang in there with me because today we're not just talking logistics. We're going to address the pain and emotional exhaustion behind this struggle. And I'm going to challenge you in ways you might not expect. So take a deep breath, find a comfortable spot, and let's talk through this together. First, let's just sit in the reality of how hard this is. The holidays are supposed to be magical, filled with joy and family and memories that your kids will cherish forever. But when you're dealing with a divorce, that magic feels shattered. What used to be a time for connection and celebration is now full of difficult decisions and awkward, uncomfortable conversations. Let's acknowledge something important. You're not just negotiating money. You're fighting to preserve some sense of stability for your kids. And that pressure, it feels crushing. The thought of your kids feeling disappointed or hurt because you couldn't agree on a budget or because your ex let them down again, it's enough to break your heart. But why do we as women feel the need to overcompensate so much? Why do we try to keep the peace even when it feels like it takes the life out of us? Why do we feel this need to compromise ourselves and our own needs? Let's explore this together. Think back to your childhood. Yes, I am totally going there, where you maybe were the only one who kept everything running smoothly in your family. Maybe you were the peacekeeper, the one who made sure everyone else was okay. Maybe you were the child who had to grow up too fast, who learned to read the room before you even knew how to spell your name, because keeping everyone happy and safe felt like your responsibility. Those experiences don't just disappear when we become adults. They shape us. They make us feel we're responsible for everyone else's emotional well-being, even if it costs us our own. It's like we're programmed to make things okay, no matter how much it hurts us, because protecting other people from that pain is what we focus on. Now, why am I recording this episode, especially during the holidays? Well, because I will tell you, I just received 12 new couples. 12 new couples, like literally 12 new couples on my caseload. All of them struggling with one foot in, one foot out. Struggling with the idea that maybe divorce would be the better option. They're tired of feeling this way. They're tired of feeling misunderstood, unappreciated. They're tired of these constant arguments. It's almost as if they feel like they're walking on eggshells all the time. They don't know how to have uncomfortable conversations with their partners. One thing I often hear women, especially women in their 40s, say, he's never going to catch up. I've compromised myself so much. I've done everything to build him up, to motivate him, to help him with his confidence. And he still has yet to move. He still has yet to believe in himself. I can't believe in him for him. And I'm exhausted. I want to live my life. I want to move forward. I'm tired of apologizing for my success. I'm tired of pretending that he's been faithful this whole time. I'm tired of feeling this way. I'm tired of trying to change him. And I now realize that I need work. I hear men over and over saying that they never feel good enough. They don't feel understood. They don't feel supported as a father. I have men over and over say that they feel disconnected. And they try to make changes, but they feel like this is just so overwhelming. And now it's impacting their bodies. Now they're having health concerns. I've had so many couples come into my office just recently. And I've had this before, but not to this level of extreme. Couples, marriages are in a crisis right now. And I know a good amount of them are on the other end, where they're either in the process of filing for divorce or this is their first year of divorce. And so you guys have asked me for this episode in so many ways. And I'm here to provide you with tools and resources to help you. But again, I'm going to go back to that one question. Think back to your childhood. What was it like? What did you watch mom do? What was she constantly frustrated with? What was she overwhelmed with? Grab a pen and paper and write this down. So think about your mom. What did life look like for her? Was she happy? Was she overwhelmed? Was she constantly yelling? Was she constantly telling your dad what to do and how to do it? Was she looked at like the monster? Do you see how maybe either you or your husband might fill that role? Now let's look at the husband, your dad. What role did he play? Was he the one that just abided by all of your mom's rules? Did you feel safe with him? Did you feel connected with him? Did you feel seen and appreciated by him? Or was he too busy meeting the demands of your mom? When you were scared, who would you go to? Mom or dad? Why? Did you ever feel safe with your dad? Or did you constantly feel dismissed and overlooked by him? Did you trust him to protect you? And if the answer is no, why not? I told you, ladies, we're going deep today. This is not a therapy session. I just want you guys to think outside of the box. What was going on in that household? Why are you constantly overcompensating over and over and over again? Why were you the peacekeeper? Why was it important that you were the one who was constantly on guard, constantly anxious? Who did you need to take care of? Who did you need to be for that family to run smoothly? Or shit, who did you need to be so it didn't feel so chaotic? How did you learn to read the room? How did you learn to keep others happy? Why was that the goal? Now let's talk about trauma and codependency. I know these words can be tough to hear, but stay with me. When we hear codependency, a lot of us don't really understand what that means. So let me go ahead and break it down for you. Codependency is a behavioral and emotional condition that impacts a person's ability to have a healthy, balanced relationship. It's often characterized by an excessive reliance on others for approval, validation, or sense of identity. People who struggle with codependency may feel a compulsive need to take care of others, even to their own detriment, and find their self-worth tied to how much they can please or take care of someone else. This dynamic leads to a pattern where one person sacrifices their needs while the other person may become overly dependent on that support. Does any of this sound familiar? Now let's quickly talk about why high achieving women often struggle with codependency. There is this desire for approval. High achieving women are often driven by external validation, having spent years excelling in their careers or personal lives through the acknowledgement and approval of others. This need for recognition can spill over into the relationship, where they may feel compelled to continually prove their worth by being selfless and indispensable. Another reason, perfectionism. Many high achieving women have a tendency toward perfectionism, believing they must have everything under control at all times. This mindset can make them feel responsible for the happiness and well being of others, leading to codependent behaviors like micromanaging or overfunctioning in their relationship. Self-worth linked to accomplishments. High achieving women often equate their value with their accomplishments. In relationships, this belief translates into the idea that they must constantly do or give to feel worthy of love and appreciation. This can make it hard for them to set boundaries or prioritize their own needs without guilt. Oh my gosh, Veronica, you're totally describing me. Hold up, we have three more. 4, difficulty asking for help. Used to being the problem solver and strong figures in both work and family settings, these women often have a hard time admitting when they need support. This contributes to a cycle where they take on too much emotional labor and responsibility, feeding into codependent patterns. 5, childhood conditioning. Many high achieving women were raised in environments where they felt the need to take care of others emotionally, or where their achievements were heavily praised or overlooked. This conditioning teaches them to overfunction or prioritize the needs of others as a way to maintain relationships or avoid conflict. Last one, fear of conflict. The drive to maintain harmony and avoid conflict can lead high achieving women to suppress their feelings or needs, reinforcing codependent behavior. They may act as peacekeepers, going to great lengths to manage or mitigate emotional situations, even if it means sacrificing their well being. So, ladies, we're conditioned to believe that we needed to help others before we took care of ourselves. So, like I said, trauma doesn't have to mean something catastrophic. It can be quite the consistent experiences of being ignored, neglected, or put in the position of fix adult problems as a child. If you grew up in a household where you felt responsible for keeping things calm, you learn to minimize your needs. You learn to be quiet, to not make waves, to put yourself last.
I know looking for the right therapist can be challenging. However, feeling overwhelmed and disconnected is even harder. Life is filled with several twists and turns, some more severe than others. We do our best to handle them as they come and find ourselves at a loss, not knowing what to do or who to turn to. The clinicians here at Outside the Norm Counseling are here to help. We are here to assist you through this time of need. Together, we will identify your strengths and goals and teach you healthy coping skills. Together, we will develop a plan to help you live the life you want to live. Our team is compassionate, genuine, and we take a great deal of pride in providing an empathetic, non-judgmental approach to all of our clients. It's time! You've waited long enough, whether it be for you, your child, or if you're in need of a couple session. We are highly trained clinicians ready to guide you. Schedule an appointment now by calling 951-395-3288. Again, that number is 951-395-3288. We're looking forward to meeting you and being a part of your journey.
Fast forward to today, and here you are, still trying to keep the peace, still putting everyone else first, even your ex, who may not deserve that level of care from you. This behavior is a form of codependency, where your sense of worth is tied up in taking care of everyone else and making sure everything is fine. I want to pause for a moment and ask you, how does this resonate with you? Can you see how these patterns have followed you in adulthood? Think about a recent moment where you compromised to keep the peace. What did that cost you? How did that feel? I want you to grab a pen and paper really quickly. Grab a pen and paper. It's okay. I'll wait. I'm not going anywhere. So I'm going to ask this question again. Fast forward to today. We're still trying to keep the peace. Still putting everyone else first, even your ex. How does this resonate with you? And I want you to really take the time to answer this question. You can go ahead and pause me if you need to. But how does this resonate with you? Next, can you see how these patterns have followed you into adulthood? Now I want you to think about a recent moment where you compromised to keep the peace. Now, I want you to write down what you did. Go ahead and write down what you did. What was the thought attached to it? Maybe it was, I need to do this. I have to be the bigger person. I have to compromise myself because we all know he's not. Maybe it was, the kids are going to pay for this and I have to be the one to protect them. I'm the only one that protects them. So I have to give and I have to compromise myself to protect the kids. That right there is a thought. I want you to write that down. And then underneath that thought, on one side of the paper, I want you to write costs. On the other side of the paper, I want you to write benefits. And I want you to draw a line through it. Identify, what is it costing you to make this belief true? What is it benefiting you? But Veronica, this always happens. Okay, I get that. And it's going to continue to happen because you're not willing to change anything. What is it costing you? What is it costing you? Is it costing you your emotional? Is it costing you emotionally? Is it costing you mentally? Is it costing you physically? Is it costing you your relationships? Is it costing you time? What is it costing you? And then on the other side, how is it benefiting you? Well, I don't have to poke the bear. Well, I get to keep the peace. Well, I get to have some form of control. Well, Veronica, I don't know anything. I don't know any other way. So this is familiar. And I don't have to step outside of my comfort zone because this is familiar. Now we're getting to the truth and what it's really costing you and how it's really benefiting you. Don't get me wrong. It's not benefiting you in a healthy way, and we both know this. Now, I want you to write down, how did that feel? How does it feel to compromise yourself over and over again? Take a moment. Let yourself feel that. It's not easy, I know, but awareness is the first step toward change. I had a client, we'll call her Sarah, who shared a story that might feel familiar. Growing up, Sarah's parents constantly fought about money. As a child, she would do whatever it took to make them stop fighting. Sometimes it meant being the perfect student. Other times it meant pretending she didn't need anything. Can you relate with Sarah? Fast forward to her adult life. Now, Sarah was in the middle of a divorce and she found herself constantly agreeing to her ex-husband's demands about the holiday spending, even though it left her financially strained and emotionally drained. Through therapy and me challenging her, Sarah came to a realization. Her desire to avoid conflict, her willingness to sacrifice her own needs wasn't just about keeping the peace. It was about that scared little girl who still felt responsible for making everyone happy. Can you relate to Sarah's story? If so, you're not alone. And you don't have to keep living this way. It's time to challenge this pattern. I know standing up for yourself feels terrifying. I know the thought of seeing your kids disappointed makes you want to give in. But ask yourself, how many times have you put yourself last, only to get burned in the end? How many times have you compromised, only to be left feeling bitter, angry, resentful, and unseen? I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be this way. You can learn to protect your peace. You can learn to set boundaries that honor your needs and your children's needs. And no, it won't be easy. It will be worth it. Okay, let's get into some practical strategies. Because while we're talking about deep emotional wounds, we also need real, actionable steps to get through the holidays. Now, don't get me wrong. This isn't one and done. I'm not giving you these tools that are completely going to change your life. There's more work that needs to be done for that. But I will say, if you stick to what your non-negotiables are and you're able to identify them, if you're able to identify what your areas of flexibility are, if you're able to identify those two things, then it's important you stand behind them without compromise. The areas of flexibility, you have room to negotiate, but your non-negotiables, it's important you respect, because no one's going to respect them like you. Boundaries are going to be really, really crucial. So let's get to step one. Schedule a meeting. Don't try to negotiate over text or in the middle of a tense moment. Schedule a time to sit down or call and discuss holiday expenses calmly. Research study shows that 96% of conversations that are started harshly or driven by emotions have a very high unsuccessful rate. So if you are going to start a conversation and your emotions have already gotten the best of you, it has a 96% fail rate. 96% fail rate. So know that if you're going to have a conversation, your emotions need to be in check. Bring a list of what needs to be covered and have a budget ready. If you're looking to create a budget with them, that might not work. So have something in mind. Again, I want you to think, what are your areas of flexibility? What are your non-negotiables? Stick to the plan. Once you've agreed on who's paying for what, write it down. If he tries to back out or make last-minute changes, remind him, calm but firmly, of your agreement. You can say something like, I understand things come up. We agreed to this plan, and I'm sticking to it. I am sticking to it. Now, the problem with this, he might not. We will need to work on the aftermath of that as well. No matter what, though, you have to stick to whatever you agree to. That is going to be really important, especially if you're setting boundaries. Again, before having this conversation, identify what are your non-negotiables, what are your areas of flexibility. And remember, conversations that start up harshly have a 96% chance that that conversation will be unsuccessful. So we have three things to keep in mind. What are our non-negotiables? What are our areas of flexibility? And we got to keep those emotions in check. Step 3, communicate clearly and without emotion. If he tries to bait you into an argument or gets aggressive, keep your cool. Take a deep breath and respond with facts, not feelings. This isn't about proving who's right or wrong. It's about making decisions that honor your family. Now, really quick tip. If the conversation starts to get heated, take a break. Take a break. Why? Because we just said it has a 96% chance that it's going to fail. So instead of trying to impose whatever decisions, whatever you have on that list, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And so it is very, very important you keep yourself in check. Now, if he gets aggressive, take a break. I can see this conversation is about to be derailed. Let's go ahead and hold off. No. We can talk right now. And you start to see him get more and more heated. Stop the conversation. This is where I'm going to go ahead and put a pause in this conversation. And we could talk again 20 minutes from now. We can talk again an hour from now. For right now, though, let's go ahead and take a break. That is going to be really, really important. Your brain and his brain is not able to think rationally when you are flooded with emotions and your emotions are getting the best of you. We already know it's 96% chance that the conversation is going to be unsuccessful. Yes, I repeat this. I keep on repeating it for a reason. It is really, really important that you take control of what you can control. You might need to reschedule this conversation. But again, we want, even if you reschedule it 3 times, it is important that the conversation that you have, it's followed through with something rational, not emotional. Number 4, boundaries, not ultimatums. Boundaries about what you will or will not do, not about controlling him. For instance, if he asks you to pay for something outside your agreed budget, you can say, I'm staying within our agreed budget. This is what I'm comfortable with. No need to justify or explain your comfort matters. Step number 5, keep your emotions in check. I know I've said this over and over and over and over and over again, but it is important. If the conversation gets heated, give yourself permission to take a break. Say, I need to pause this conversation and come back when we both are calm. Your power lies in your ability to remain composed and protect your peace. You're the only one that can do this. Now, this isn't just about money. This is about reclaiming your worth, about teaching your kids what it looks like to have healthy boundaries, even when it's hard. I know you love your kids deeply, and I know that love drives you to protect them, but protecting them doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It means modeling strength, courage, and self-respect. Think about how powerful it would be for your kids to see you stand up for what's fair, to see you set a boundary and keep it. That's the example you want to set. And if this feels too heavy to do on your own, I want you to know that there's no shame in asking for help. You don't have to navigate this alone. If today's episode has stirred something inside you, if you're ready to stop sacrificing yourself and start living with more peace, I invite you to reach out for support. Outside the Norm Counseling is here to help. We service all of California, and I'm also licensed in Idaho, Virginia, and Arizona. Our team specializes in guiding high-achieving women through these exact struggles. We'd love to walk alongside you. Visit our website, www.outsidethenormcounseling.com, or book a session today, because you deserve support, healing, and a plan that protects your peace this holiday. Thank you for spending time with me. Remember, you are not alone in this. There's a path to more peace, more strength, and more self-respect. Let's keep walking it together, one step at a time. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Raise your hand if you are ready to level up your marriage for 2023. Do you find that you're spending your time together with your husband checked out and in front of the TV? I know you're ready for tangible strategies that actually get you results. Reignite the spark in your marriage, have fun, and grow together. Well, I hope you have your hand raised at this minute, because I have something special for you. I'm introducing my brand new 6-question marriage predictor quiz that's gonna give you personalized results to catapult you into the next stage of your marriage journey. That means you'll receive the results to where your marriage can get the best help. If you've got just 1 minute, head to veronicacisneros.org/quiz. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, and you could take my brand new quiz, Marriage Predictor. Get your results delivered right to your email address. Again, that's veronicacisneros.org/quiz, veronicacisneros.org/quiz. What's up, ladies? Just want to let you guys know that your ratings and reviews for this podcast are greatly appreciated. If you love this podcast, please go to iTunes right now, write a review, rate the episode, and subscribe. Don't forget to share it with your friends.